Hello everyone, welcome to Simran IAS Academy. In this video, we will discuss about the main strategy for the GS paper 3, General Studies paper 3, how you should approach to study for this paper particularly. We will discuss in this video. So first to begin with, we will see the syllabus of the GS paper 3. So first is the Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, and employment. So all the topics which are related to the Indian economy, either directly or indirectly, which have been in the current and also in the contemporary news in the last 2-3 years, they are important because an analysis question can be asked from that, and also the historical evolution after independence, how the Indian economy has proceeded. In the initial few years, our focus was on developing heavy industries. Then in 1991, liberalization happened, and the dominance of the license Raj, which was there, it got reduced, and now how our focus is shifting towards more enhancement of the participation of the private sector in various sectors of the economy. So the shift in the focus is also very important for the mains, and analysis question can be asked. Next is the inclusive growth and issues rising out of it. So what do you understand by inclusive growth? What are the things which impact it? What are the factors which impact it? How the government is bringing out policies to ensure inclusive growth? What are some of the challenges associated with that, and how to approach those challenges in a fair, equitable manner by providing practical and viable solutions, which are in terms of both short term and long run. Okay, so next is the government budgeting. What are the various factors on which the budget making of the government depends, how it gets influenced by those various factors, and that all the details and particularly the analysis of the government budgeting, what are the issues associated with that, and how the government budgeting efficiency can be enhanced with the participation of the private sector and enhancement of the FDI, etc. That has to be analyzed in this. Next is the major crops, cropping pattern in various parts of the country, different types of irrigation and irrigation systems, and irrigation systems, uh, and issues arising out of that we will study. Next is the landform reforms, land reforms in India. So we'll study what are the land reforms and how it gets influenced by various factors. And in the agriculture sector questions, they are particularly related to the analysis of the various government schemes, or how to provide practical solutions to double the farmers income by 2022, which is the ultimate aim of the various government policies. So next is the food processing and yeah, related industries in India, their scope and significance, location, upstream and downstream requirements, supply chain management. So what is the food processing sector? What are the various contributions of it to the Indian economy? How it gets influenced by various factors? What are the various issues associated in that, and how to address those issues? And also the various government schemes in that regard you have to study. And also the supply chain management, how the supply chain management helps to enhance the efficiency of the agriculture sector. What are the various issues associated with that, and how those issues can be addressed, can be solved with more participation of the private sector by enhancing the efficiency and the productivity of the supply chain management ecosystem. So the proper analysis is a must when you are studying a particular topic. So next is effects of liberalization on the economy, changes in industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth. So as we discussed that in 1991 liberalization happened. So what are the various effects of that liberalization on the Indian economy? How the Indian economy has grown, or how is that how it has got affected when more and more private industries and more foreign sector industries also were allowed in India post the liberalization in a liberalized environment. So next is the infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc. What are the various critical and non-critical infrastructure in India, and what are the issues associated with the development of infrastructure in India, and the various government policies in that regard, like the 102 crore National Infrastructure Pipeline NIP, or the currently launched PM Gati Shakti scheme. You have to study about that, and all the about when you are studying about a particular sector, say railways. So what are the issues associated in the railway sector and how the government is addressing that, and also the various recommendations of expert committees like the Vivek Debroy committee, etc. You have to study what they recommended, which you can use in the conclusion or the way forward part of an answer. So next is the science and technology development and their applications and effects in everyday life, and achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technology, awareness in the fields of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and issues relating to intellectual property rights. So you have to study everything about the science and technology sector, which has been in news in the last 2-3 years, be it any invention related to the enhancement of the ease of living of citizens, or also the contributions of various scientists, which has improved the ease of living or the lives of multiple or lakhs of citizens, and also the inventions or the explorations carried forward by ISRO, or for that matter NASA also. They are important, very very important. A question can be asked in mains. So next is conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment. So everything about the environment, various government policies about that. Water conservation is a important topic, and also why climate change mitigation is important, what the government and India as a nation is doing for that, and what are the challenges associated in our approach, and how we can further improve on that you have to do the analysis. So next is disaster and disaster management. What are the short term and long term solutions, and both the structural and non structural solutions to handle disaster, various types of disasters, and how the disaster management approach of India has evolved from the earlier reactionary approach, which meant that the government or the various organizations, they responded only after a disaster happened, but how it has evolved, and how the government is now focusing more on the early warning systems, or the disaster risk reduction, which is done by using various technologies which predict the magnitude and the impact of the disasters beforehand, so that the public can be sensitized about the same, and also the proper awareness can be carried out, and proper measures can be taken beforehand, so that the loss to life and infrastructure can be minimized to the best possible extent. So how the government policies have been framing in that regard, you have to do the proper analysis. So next is the linkages between development and spread of extremism, role of external state and non-state actors in creating challenges to internal security through communication networks, role of media and social networking sites in internal security challenges, basics of cyber technology, money laundering and its prevention, you have to study. Next is security challenges and their management in border areas, linkages of organized crime with terrorism, and also the various security forces and agencies and their mandate. So everything about the internal security of India, be it the border management or the spread of extremism, terrorism, the anti-terrorism policies of India, what are the various initiatives by the government at the national level and also at the international level to curb the menace of terrorism, and how Naxalism can be brought under control by following the policy of samadhan policy that you have to study, and also the proper analysis is very important. How India can handle various illegal activities like drug trafficking, human trafficking, counterfeit currency, illegal arms trade. All this you have to provide the short term and long term solutions, and also the proper usage of maps in topics like border management, or for that matter the internal security challenges in the northeast or the Jammu Kashmir region. You can draw proper maps in that. So next is we'll now see which books or standard sources you can refer for each of the following topics mentioned in the syllabus of UPSC for GS paper 3. So for Indian economy, the topics include the Indian economy, inclusive growth, the government budgeting, major crops, subsidies, minimum support price, food processing sector, and other agricultural related issues, effects of liberalization on Indian economy, infrastructure, investment models. For the basics, you can refer the class 11th NCRTs for clearing the basics, and also the Indian economy book by Ramesh Singh, you can refer that. And apart from that, if you are not able to understand some complex topics from the standard sources, then you can also refer to the Learnbymaps notes prepared by the Simran IAS Academy. What they do, they collect the information from various standard sources related to a particular topic, and they rearrange that information in a very easy to understand manner and a very easily comprehensible manner, so that the students are able to understand the very complex topics in a very easy to understand manner, which helps them to recall that information both in the prelims and in the mains in a very easy way. Because if in the mains the factual information is there, then the analysis thing becomes easy. You can do the analysis if you are well aware of the factual details related to a particular topic. So in that thing, this Learnbymaps notes prepared by the Simran IAS Academy will help you a lot. And also with these with the help of these notes, you can understand the trick of preparing of drawing better quality flow charts in your answers, which will help you to score better marks in the mains exam, because the presentation of your answers are also very important to score good quality marks. So we as we see, the notes are there for the national income component. So estimation of national income, GDP, GNP, NDP and NNP, and also methods of calculating national income. So you will through these notes you will also understand how to prepare your notes, own notes, and also to write answers in a proper manner, which is very presentable, with the use of proper bullets and proper flow charts, and also with the help of diagrams. So in this manner you will be able to recall that information for a very long time. So as we see, this is the topic of inflation. So important terms: types of inflation, major reasons behind the inflation, measurement of inflation, how is it done, WPI, CPI, GDP inflator, etc. Difference between all of these we have to also study, which is provided in the notes itself. So next is poverty, types of poverty, poverty measure, about poverty line, methods to estimate poverty, committees on poverty, and a multidimensional poverty index, which on which a question was also asked in mains 2020. So this is why the Learnbymaps notes are very important, and they help you to compile all the information from various sources at one place only. So you don't have to refer to multiple books if you are studying from these notes. So next is the government budget, the structure. Budget contains budget receipts, government expenditure, budget deficit, fiscal deficit, about the taxes, various types of taxes, differences between tax, surcharge, cess, etc., difference between direct and indirect taxes, government accounts. All these things, they are very important for both prelims and mains. And for the mains particularly, the analysis thing is very important, and these notes help you to analyze a particular topic in various dimensions, which will help you to score very good marks in the mains exam. So next is the topic for which the notes are there is the financial market, its structure, money market and its instruments, commercial bills, certificates of deposits, commercial papers, capital market and its instruments, equity, debt, masala bonds, financial regulation in India, different financial bodies in India. You can study that. Next is the miscellaneous topics like the 15th Finance Commission, the PDS system, inclusive growth, World Bank supported schemes, RBI reserve, black money, ILFS, infrastructure limited financial services crisis, development banks, bank nationalization, which happened first for the first time in the 1970s, the planning of the Indian economy. You can study that for proper analysis in the mains exam. And this is the gross domestic product, what it is, what it includes, the domestic territory include, and also the issues associated with that, and how to look forward to those issues and how to handle those, how to solve. So you can study. Next is the circular flow of money. As you can see, the proper use of the flow chart is there, so you can directly copy this flow chart in your mains answers and it will help you to score very very good marks. So next is this types of inflation. What are the various types of inflation? And here also, as you can see, the usage of flow chart is there, so you can use that. So next is the special economic zones. What are they? Why they are created? What are the what are the various government's initiatives for the same? And how to address the challenges faced by the SEZ, special economic zones? And for that matter also, about the various you can say the infrastructure which is related to the industries, they are also very important for the mains exam. Okay, so next is the food processing sector. Everything about the food processing sector is there in one place only. What it is, what its contribution to the Indian economy, what is its significance, what are the issues associated with that, and how to address those issues, and also the various government initiatives in that regard. You can directly study all this from only a single source. You don't have to refer to multiple books if you study from the Learnbymaps notes. So next is the PDS system. What it is, why it is important, what are the various issues associated with that, you can study. Okay, so next is few tips and tricks for the economy topics. So opening your answers with a statistic, illustrating through diagraphs and charts is very important, and also structuring through subheadings is also very important. So for example, how has globalization led to the reduction of employment in the formal sector of the Indian economy? Is increased informalization detrimental to the development of the country? So the above question has two parts, and here's how the structure of an answer should be. So in the introduction, you can write about the definition of globalization and the formal sector. So in the subheading 1, you can write that how globalization led to reduction in formal employment, and in the subheading 2, you can write that how informalization is detrimental, because you can write various ways in which the informalization is detrimental. And in the conclusion, you can use the economic survey data to write the conclusion. And also in the conclusion, you can write about the various international best practices which has improved the level of employment despite the level of globalization being increasing in those countries. Okay, so you also for economy topics, you can use the economic survey to make the notes for the economics topics. Okay, so these concise notes, what they will do, they will help you to recollect points quickly and effectively. So next is preparing a topical summary. So questions in economics are often repeated with similar themes over the years, so therefore it helps to prepare 250 word summary for topics mentioned in the syllabus such as planning, PDS, FDI, inclusive growth, e-technology in the aid of farmers, etc. And for these you can use the Simran IAS Academy notes, the Learn by Maps notes prepared by the Simran IAS Academy, which you can use to prepare your own notes. Okay, so for each concept, prepare on the lines of definition, latest statistic, government policies and schemes in that sector, expert recommendations and solutions. They are very very important. Next is the conclusion. Okay, so next topic is the science and technology related issues. So for that you have to, as we have told, that you have to properly analyze the last 2 3 years current and contemporary topics which have been in news, which have aided to improve the ease of living of citizens. They are very very important. And also the Learn by Maps notes you can refer to get the understanding and doing the analysis of various topics. So science and technology index is there, ISRO, orbits, launch vehicles, etc. They are there. And next is the space exploration, about ISRO, everything about ISRO is there, everything about NASA is there. And next is the ballistic missiles, what are they, used for, various issues associated with the ballistic missiles, everything you can study. And the information is provided with the help of flowcharts, which will help you to recall this information very quickly in the exam. And also you can directly copy these flowcharts in your mains exam also. So now few tips and tricks for the science and technology related issues. So in science and technology, first equip yourself well with the base static knowledge on topics like nanotechnology, space technology, biotechnology and the like. Apart from the above, you need to learn fundamental terms and technologies used in the space like the PSLV, GSLV, cryo engine, etc., nanotech, nuclear research, fast breeder reactor, uranium enrichment, nuclear fission and fusion, etc., defense, cruise missile, ballistic missile, stealth bomber, etc., biotech, gene editing, stem cells, GM food crops, etc., communication, lidar, radar, Li-Fi, 5G, etc. Any comprehensive material of a coaching institute will be sufficient for this. And for this you can refer to the Learn by Maps notes prepared by the Simran IAS Academy. They will help you to understand the basics in a very very easy to understand manner. So next, while preparing for this section, the following broad framework is helpful in answering most of the questions. So a simple explanation of the concept and its constituent parts, as schematic if apt, why it is in the news, what are the potential benefits wherever possible, make it multidimensional across the sectors, potential threats it may pose and how we must tackle them, what we can do to make it safe and beneficial for the public so that it enhances the ease of living of the people. So everything which is there in the news is directly or indirectly related with improving the ease of living of the citizens. Okay. So next is the environment and disaster management related issues. So for that you can study study the last 2 3 years current and contemporary topics which have been in news. And also you can study from the Learn by Maps map notes prepared by the Simran IAS Academy. For example, here we can see the notes for environment are there. So it defines ecology, climate and environmental pollution, what it is, they define it. So next is the carbon mitigation strategies, what India follows and how it can improve further. Wildlife conservation is also very important. And next is the Rio Summit in 1992, which happened in 1992. That is also very important, in which the UNFCCC was formed. So next is the extremism, internal security related issues, Indian security agencies and border management of India. So you have, for this you have to study the last 2 3 years current and contemporary issues which have been in news. And apart from that you can refer to the Learn by Map notes prepared by the Simran IAS Academy. So now we will give you the few tips and tricks for disaster management, security related topics. So in the introduction, majority of topics under these categories are technical in nature. So for subjects such as environmental impact assessment, disaster management, cyber security, terrorism, insurgency, etc. So for such subtopics, it's helpful to start your answers with a definition along with a suitable example or a statistic. So the current affairs, how to study about the current affairs. Okay, so GS3 questions are usually based on current affairs. So wherever possible, even though not asked directly, try to link your answers to the current affairs and government initiatives. For instance, if there is a question on cyber security or data privacy, you can add value to your answer by quoting real life examples such as the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So this in this manner you can use the current affairs in the static topics questions to fetch better marks. Okay. So map and diagrams usage. So be innovative in using maps and charts in these topics. Draw maps to illustrate in questions on border management, left wing extremism affected areas, red corridor, illegal trade routes, golden triangle, golden crescent, etc. Even the concept of border security can be effectively depicted through a flowchart. So in the conclusion, conclude your answer with recommendations from committees if any. Also in security and disaster management, prepare a collection of best practices in India and across the world and mention them in your answers, which will help you to fetch very good marks. Okay. So next is the sample. We will discuss a sample answer for GS paper 3. So justify the need for FDI for the development of the Indian economy. Why is there a gap between MOUs signed and actual FDIs? Suggest remedial steps to be taken for increasing actual FDIs in India. So first, as we had said, you can give the definition of what FDI is. So FDI refers to a long-term investment by a company of one country in a firm located in another country. So through a diagram you can represent the FDI inflow in India over the years. How is that increased? Okay. So next is FDI is needed. You can use various subheadings. Okay, that FDI is needed for development of Indian economy because stable long-term investment and non-debt creating inflow of capital into industries and backward regions. Transfers for latest technology, example Amazon in Hyderabad. Human resource development, higher productivity and efficiency creates new jobs in the economy, generates tax revenue for the government. MOU is an agreement between two parties which is a non-legally binding. So there is a gap between FDI and MOU because litigation, filing of PILs against setting up of industries causes hindrance in FDI project. Red tape in granting permissions. As per the World Bank, days to start a business, Singapore is number 2 and India is number 8. In Singapore just takes 2 days, whereas India takes 18 days to start a new business. Okay, so land acquisition problems hinder FDI projects. Example, the steel plant in Yamgiri, Odisha. Next is uncertain tax policies. Example, retrospective tax judgment on Vodafone. So what are some of the remedial measures for this? So explore more opportunities for DTAs and bilateral investment treaties and improve the EODB by establishing single window clearance. Example, TS IPAS Act of Telangana, which gives automatic approval within 15 days. And in the land reform sector, conclusive tilting along with land leasing reforms are needed, strengthening insolvency and bankruptcy code to ensure quick closure of firms and to resolve and deal better in a more efficient manner with the NPA problem in India. Okay. So next is the IPR. Robust legal protection of intellectual property rights is needed so that the environment of innovation can be fostered in India and the research and development can also be boosted. So next is ensure fair and predictable taxation policies so that more and more companies are set up and they ultimately lead to the growth of the Indian economy. So these reforms will go a long way in attracting FDI and help in India in realizing a $5 trillion economy by 2024. So in this manner you can conclude and in conclusion, you can give the recommendations of various committees or the Niti Aayog for that matter. So thanks a lot for watching this video. Have a nice day.